great ass! And you got your head all the way up it!
Why are you gay?
You can't deny you are gay. And you got gay friends.
52, the words gay and retarded come out of my mouth an awful lot. It's okay, they're just words. Quit being so gay.
Oh yeah, pipe smokers. Oh yeah, pipe smokers. Oh yeah, pipe smokers.
Huh?
Hello, everyone.
Are you connecting?
Stirring the peach electrolytes and creatine mix with chopsticks, using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your creatine. At the molecular level. Good morning, welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. I am the Sultan. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. We'll get started, but first, peach creatine. Nice.
Nice.
Well, this morning I went out in the backyard and picked dandelion greens. You know, dandelions are labeled as weeds, and we invite pesticides and herbicides and all this stuff into our life. I know neighbors bring a company in that not just fertilizes their lawn, but they spread weed killer and to suppress or kill the dandelions. Dandelions are actually food and medicine. The flowers, the leaves, the stems, the roots, and they are in every yard, everywhere. They're in every park. In the farm park where I walk, most people will see fields and forest. I see food and a pharmacy. This morning for meal number one, I had 4 scrambled eggs, but before I made them, I actually sauteed dandelion leaves. And of course, the eggs were from the farm where I walk. And it was absolutely magnificent, absolute incredible meal. Look into the power of dandelions as food and as medicine. You know this guy here, don't you? Believe me, I know just about everybody, and he came to an event that I was speaking at. What do you think of him? I saw that he was a pretty good guy, talked to him a little bit, and I know people have different opinions on him. I like the guy, and I think he's a good addition to the PBD podcast, even though some people think differently. I liked him. He was a very kind guy and very respectful, and I'm glad I got to know him a little bit. In the Mirror, a publication in Europe, headline reads, "Shrinking penises and night terrors among 200 long COVID symptoms found in a study." Well, there's one good reason to not get the jab. We're going to start talking about a few things that might be relevant to you. A good woman will start doing wife duties before you even marry her. Never give a girlfriend wife benefits. Now listen up, especially you divorced guys, the guys that got burned, and the guys that are still bleeding as you are scrolling through this. A high-value woman who wants to build with you doesn't treat the relationship like you're on probation, where she clocks in minimally and then just waits for the promotion to wife. She shows up early, she invests in you, invests in the relationship, she takes care of herself, she cooks for you. And if you like to cook, I'm not one of these guys that thinks like, woman, cook for me. Hey, listen, if she makes a better chicken soup or chili than I do, she's making it. If I make something better, I'm making it. So unlike the homes that so many of us grew up in, where mom did all the cooking and dad just came in from work, put down his lunchbox, and then sat at the table ready to eat, many of you already know how to cook, and you cook well. I cook very well. And so I like sharing cooking with someone, and 9 times out of 10, I'm the better cook when I've been in relationships. She respects your space, gives you space. She respects your time and your mission because overall you are married to your mission. She joins your mission, but she is never your mission. She builds you up instead of draining your tank. She acts like a wife before the paperwork or before a marriage or agreement because she sees a future in you and you see a future in her. Not a free trial with all the perks and none of the accountability. That's always been the test. But what do most men do? They simp. You give full husband package, emotional labor, emotional support dog, financial support, domestic access, consistent dick, protection, status to a chick who is still figuring things out or not ready for a label. She's your girlfriend in name only while living like a wife in your house on the weekends and one night a week on your dime with zero skin in the game. Then she walks when the vibe changes, leaves you holding the bag, and then hits the dating apps for the next provider. Never give a girlfriend wife benefits. And that's basically from Self-Respect 101. Why the heck would any man, rational man, subsidize indefinite girlfriend mode? Marriage is a covert contract with real stakes. Your money, your kids, your freedom, and especially your peace, because a man settles where he has peace. If she's not demonstrating loyalty, effort, and submission to your vision now, what makes you think that a ring on her hand is going to turn her into a ride or die woman? It doesn't. It just makes the exit, her exit, more expensive when the mask slips off of her. Remember, it takes anywhere from 2 months to 4 years for crazy to come out, if crazy does exist. But the only time you figure that out is when you give it time. Date long, marry slow, and if you're going to get divorced, divorce fast. And I've seen it too many times in my work with men who are recovering from divorce and loss. Guys who bent over backwards, played the understanding the modern woman game, and ended up wrecked. The culture lies to you. Modern culture says just be a good man and she'll match your energy. That's nonsense. Modern dating rewards low effort, high entitlement behavior from women while shaming men for actually having standards. Churches do it too. They are the biggest offenders. Men grinding in a basement on Saturday mornings at men's ministry Bible studies, doing accountability work, iron sharpening iron, while women just get applause for participation. Dude, just stop it. Screen hard, vet hard. Watch her actions, not her words. That's actually good advice for any human being. Look at what they do and not what they say, or believe what they do and not what they say. Does she break her rules for you? Does she prioritize you over girls' night out and endless texting? Does she process her daddy wounds like an adult or carry that flamethrower of resentment looking for the next male target? If she's shit-talking her father casually and comfortably, you need to run because you are next. A good woman proves it in the field. She doesn't demand equality while expecting you to lead and provide. She contributes, she respects, and she builds. I've said this for years now. Look for a builder. To build what? Something that will outlive both of you. So men, protect your frame, protect your time. Date with progression and intention. Offer commitment proportional to her demonstrated investment. No more free milk. No more trial runs with full benefits. Demand reciprocity or next her. Your peace, your resources, and your future legacy aren't practice dummies for her self-discovery journey. Wake up, lead, or get played. And that leads me to my next topic. Stop buying expensive dinner for women who slept with guys who got them a coffee to go. Never pay for something that others got for free. I know guys who halfway through a coffee date just looked at the woman and said, "Wanna fuck?" And then they get busy at her place, his place, or the BJ in the parking lot. I'm reminded of the song 1990 by Digital Underground, where the guy, I think there's a song called the Humpty Dumpty Dance or something like that. One line says, "I once got busy in a Burger King bathroom."
Once got busy in a Burger King bathroom.
That always made me laugh. If she expects a full steakhouse experience from you, but gave someone else do me baby energy, you don't compete. You get the frig out of there. Never pay a premium price for something that she once gave away for free. And in a more crude way, I can say never pay full price for used merchandise. After a certain age, everybody is used merchandise, men or women. So you're trying to find the least used person unless you're both virgins and grew up in a remote village and had an arranged marriage. The reality is you are someone who has some mileage on you. She probably has mileage. You'll talk about your mileage. She will deny it. Men have a tendency to over-exaggerate their experience. Women have a tendency and a self-protective thing where they underrepresent the mileage that they have. And part 3 of this is identify father hate quickly in a woman. It's misopatry. There's a word for you, pronounced misopatry. It's the hatred of father. And I've done a deep dive into this for many years, starting when I had experienced it myself. And you don't need a psych or counseling degree. You just need to listen. If she casually, repeatedly, and comfortably shit talks her dad, you, sir, don't stand a snowball chance in hell with her. You are not the exception, although you think you are. You think, I'm special. It would never happen to me. You are next in line. You're not going to fix her, heal her, rescue her, or out-earn her past. You're not going to fix this. It's in her mental DNA. What you're looking for is father-related resentment, attachment wounds, and parental contempt. And that's what's really going on underneath the hood. The car looks shiny, but there's something wrong with the way the engine operates. And here's the part that most men don't want to hear. No amount of money, no upgraded lifestyle, stability, or comfort is going to cure that in her. And give her the best version of life that she's ever had, and she is still going to find a way to drag the ghost of her father into the room and make you pay for it. You'll be starting a relationship with a structural crack in the foundation. I call it a fatal flaw. That is a ticking time bomb. It's not a surface issue. It's not just, well, it's that time of the month or I'm having a bad week. It's a built-in flaw. It might as well be genetic. And you will be fighting that thing forever. Personal and professional experience here. Been through it, brother. I've worked with hundreds of men who've been through the same thing. I've seen it too many times that I can count. Guys think that they're different. You're different, right? You're special. You're not. No magic Jesus wand is going to make that go away. The magic Jesus wand. Yeah, there's real dirtbag fathers out there. There's guys that are just irresponsible, alcoholics, drug addicts, checked out, running around, causing chaos. Believe me, those men do not get a pass here. I'm not defending a man's bad behavior. I do not reward bad behavior in any human being, period. But watch the woman. A graceful, grounded woman can acknowledge a flawed or even broken father without turning it into a lifelong vendetta. She doesn't cheap shot him for sport. She doesn't build her identity around hating him. She might love him from a distance. She might limit exposure to him. She might keep boundaries, but she's not walking around with a flamethrower looking for the next male target. And don't kid yourself, mom's influence is in there too. This narrative that you encountered did not build itself. Here's the fork in the road that most men miss. A woman who says, my dad was a mess, it affected me, I worked through it, I love him, but I limit my exposure. That woman has done some work. She's got awareness, she got boundaries, she's not perfect, but she's not bleeding all over the next guy either. Versus the woman who says, all men are trash, my dad proved it, and I will never trust a man. That is not a statement, my friend. That is a worldview. That is a belief system that is so deeply rooted in her heart and in her brain. That's a loop that's running 24/7 in the background in her psyche. And you're not strong enough, rich enough, or patient enough to break that loop. There will be no rescuing. God called you to lead, not to rescue. You're just going to get absorbed into the drama. You are now going to be part of her soap opera. One woman processes the pain, another woman is living inside of it with that looping. Don't be naive and just screen for, does she love her dad? That's too simplistic and you're going to miss the point. What I want you to look for is, how has she processed the pain? How did she process the dysfunction that was her family? One of the great things that I teach men to do, and I'm not a dating coach by any stretch. One of the things that I teach men to do is keep your mouth shut and listen on the first couple dates. Ask her questions like, so what was it like for Janine growing up? And then shut up and let her talk. Listen to how she talks about people who hurt her in the past. Watch whether she has perspective or permanent contempt. That is the tell right there. It's the difference between a red flag that you can navigate and a life sentence that you will regret. Sitting there years from now wondering why you didn't pay attention when she told you exactly who she was. A quick reminder, you are not heartbroken. You are disoriented. You are not depressed. You are discouraged. You don't miss her, you miss who you were. You only miss the hardware, not the software and the operating system. You keep replaying the loop and Polaroid snapshots in your head of how beautiful she was. The picture of her coming out of the bathroom with a towel wrapped around her head and a towel around her body and drying off after a shower, and how pretty she was and how beautiful she smelled. Remember, women should smell like olives and taste like nectar. Just a little tip there for you. Stop trying to get your ex back and get you back. Somewhere along the line, you lost you in the process. If you're going to buy someone flowers, you know, guys do that. They start buying flowers for women that broke up with them, or the ex-wife, the ex-girlfriend. Instead, buy yourself flowers. Reward yourself for bouncing back. Make your life beautiful. Well, yesterday was St. George Day in the UK. If you know, you know. As a matter of fact, there's St. George right there. St. George is a template for masculinity and courage. Face the threat. Never negotiate with it. End it decisively. Do it in public so others gain strength from it. St. George Day is about standing your ground when something ugly shows up in your life. Not talking about it endlessly, not intellectualizing it, not avoiding it, just handling it. Thank you, St. George. Today's weather report, increasingly liquefied ghee, followed by widely scattered softening and isolated periods of liquefaction tomorrow. It's funny, I ordered a big jar of ghee. It came solid. That's when the weather was a little bit cooler. Now I keep a big jar of ghee on the counter for cooking and such, and I put a scoop in my coffee as well. It's like liquid now in there, and it gets very soft and turns to liquid, I would say, at about 75 degrees and up. Below that, it's solid, just like a stick of butter. Let's talk about accountability with Christian men and men in general. Christian men sit in church basements and living rooms doing the hard work. Christian women get a standing ovation just for showing up. And I believe it's the church's fault that created this imbalance, and it's wrecked a lot of marriages. Picture it. It's a Saturday morning, folding chairs in a circle, bad coffee, maybe somebody flipping pancakes and frying bacon, a dozen men, Bibles open, maybe doing a book study, talking about where they failed in the past week, keeping each other accountable, iron sharpening iron, talking about where they fell short as husbands, fathers, sons. As a man, nobody lets you off easy. And that's the point. This is what Christian men's accountability looks like on the ground. It's not polished. It's not comfortable. You sit across from a guy who knows exactly what you said to your wife last Tuesday, and he's going to ask you about it next week. Men holding other men accountable. So there's no hiding. There's no applause for just breathing. Tell me, where is the room filled with Christian women doing that? Because I don't see it. What I'm seeing is the you go girl theology. If a man gets divorced, everyone says, do the right thing. If a woman is getting divorced, they say, do what is right for you. And that crept right into the church culture today, right into the pews. Women's Bible studies that are more affirmation and therapy sessions than scripture and theology, and keeping each other accountable. Retreats that feel like spa weekends with a devotional stapled onto it. Pastors terrified to preach anything or talk about anything that sounds like a standard for women. You go to church on Mother's Day, it's flowers and honoring mom. You go to church on Father's Day, and it's like, do the right thing, man up. Why do pastors do that? Because it would be called misogyny before the sermon is even over with. Men's groups don't get soft. They stay uncomfortable by design because the men who built it understood that comfort is the enemy of growth. Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. That's not a metaphor about having a nice chat over brunch. It means friction. It means discomfort. It means someone pushing back on your excuses. So the baseline gets removed, and then we told men to just find a woman who takes her vows seriously, as if that fixes what the institution stopped requiring. I know guys on Twitter that say, who've responded to me, well, then just marry a woman that doesn't believe in divorce. Show me one woman who goes to the altar and says or thinks, if this doesn't work out, we'll just get a divorce. No. They take their vows. They promise to be a loving, caring wife in sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, till death do us part. That vow doesn't even exist anymore now, does it? So the idealist, and there will be no idealism, that you hear in Christian circles, just marry a woman that doesn't believe in divorce. That's a fantasy, absolute fantasy. Not because faithful women don't exist, because I do believe that some do exist. But the formation system that used to produce good women has hollowed out. The accountability culture that should exist on both sides only exists on one side now. So you can't tell men to hold the standard while telling women that the standard doesn't even apply to them. You can't preach covenant marriage on Sunday and then quietly excuse every exit ramp that makes one party more comfortable. You know, it takes two to ruin a marriage. Her and her mother. I always thought that was funny. Men sitting in a basement for a men's ministry breakfast, or sitting around in a circle doing a Bible study on Saturday mornings, doing the work. That is what it's all about. So accountability is not punishment to men, but it is punishment for women. God forbid you hold a woman accountable. It's not about putting anyone beneath anyone else. It's about taking your commitment seriously enough to let other people ask you hard questions about them. Men built that culture inside the church because they needed it. The church needs to build it on the other side too, not as judgment, but as the same basic expectation of growth that those folding chair Saturday mornings have always demanded. And until that happens, stop acting surprised at the outcomes. A man would choose a pretty, feminine, smiling, loyal woman from a taco truck over a boss babe with a great resume, a boob job, a facelift, 2 completed marathons, an MBA, 4 mud runs, in the gym 5 days a week, and a corporate job. Look at that woman's resume, said no man ever. There was a concept that I asked Grok and all my AI channels. I said, explain the concept of alpha fucks versus beta bucks, like I'm a 5-year-old. It's a shorthand concept from evolutionary psychology and the red pill community, and discussions of human mating strategies. It describes a dual mating strategy that some researchers and observers claim that many women employ. Alpha fucks. Women pursue short-term sexual relationships with genetically attractive, dominant, high-status, or exciting alpha males. Men who display traits like physical fitness, social dominance, high-value earning, confidence, risk-taking, and pre-selection, which means that other women desire them. You know, you've heard it said that women want a man that other women desire and that men want to be like. The idea is that these pairings optimize for good genes, offspring with better survival and reproductive prospects. Beta bucks means for long-term commitment, provisioning, and raising children, women pair with reliable, stable, resource-providing beta males, men who are kind, nice guys, loyal, financially secure, agreeable, and invested in the relationship. And these pairings optimize for resources and parental investment. The phrase suggests that women may separate sexual desire from resource security, especially across different life stages or relationship contexts. The cores behind this philosophy is this: hypergamy. Women tend to seek partners of equal or higher mate value, higher as far as status, resources, dominance. And this is supported by extensive mate preference research across cultures. Women rate status and resources more highly than men do. There's a thing called dual mating strategy, and the evolutionary theorists will say that humans aren't purely monogamous. Women may benefit from securing a sexy genes from a guy while getting investment from another. Evidence includes the ovulatory shift. During peak fertility, women show stronger preferences for masculine faces and bodies, symmetry, dominance, and short-term mating cues. There's extra pair copulations. Studies on infidelity show women sometimes cheat with more attractive men while staying with the stable, nice guy. There's cross-cultural data. Women prioritize resources more in long-term contexts. Men prioritize physical attractiveness more consistently. The concept gained popularity probably about 15 to 20 years ago from people like Rollo Tomassi, author of The Rational Male.
George Bruno, by the way, is a stand-up guy in my book right now.
So here's the real-world issues that it tries to explain. Young women often date exciting but unreliable men in their 20s. The wall narrative, women hitting the wall, claims this shifts after 30 as fertility declines and priorities change towards stability. Divorce or branch swinging. Some data shows that women initiate 70 to 90% of all divorces, often when they perceive better options or after securing resources and children. Online dating, hypergamous dynamics amplified by dating apps. Obviously, the top men get disproportionate attention. Nice guy complaints. Men who lead with provision and friendliness often struggle with attraction compared to those leading with dominance and confidence. So here's some important caveats and nuances. It's not universal. Many women are pair bonded, monogamous, or prioritize compatible partners over this split. Personality, culture, upbringing, and individual values matter hugely. Attachment styles, which most of that is bullshit. Conscientiousness and intelligence influence behavior more than crude alpha, beta labels and philosophy. A lot of times the alpha and beta stuff is oversimplification, and it's crude pop psych terms. Real dominance includes pro-social leadership, not just jerk or, you get some of the guys that say women love assholes. Maybe some do. I don't think all do. Many high-value men combine the traits of attractiveness and stability, but they are rare. Symmetry. Men also have a dual strategy as well. Pursuing fertile, attractive women for sex while valuing loyalty in a long-term mate. Men's preferences will shift, preferring youth and fertility as well. For instance, if you're an older guy, you're not looking to make more babies. So your mission is a little bit different once the kids fly the coop or if you've already had kids. In a modern context, economic independence, birth control, dating apps, and declining marriage rates and the zero population growth, they have changed all the incentives. Hypergamy exists, but the outcomes depend on the environment. Criticisms. Let's talk about the criticisms, how people criticize alpha fucks, beta bucks. Detractors will call it misogynistic. Cynicism that ignores mutual attraction, love, and pair bonding. Some data shows that assertive mating, people with similar value, is common and that committed relationships often feature both desire and investment, but it is rare. In short, alpha fucks, beta bucks is a model of female sexual economics rooted in evolutionary pressures, optimized genes, short-term, security, long-term. It has explanatory power for observed dating market frustrations. But like most models of complex human behavior, it's a useful model rather than ironclad destiny. Individual agency, people make up their own minds. They have individual behavior, not necessarily group behavior. I don't want to lump men in one category. I don't want to lump women in one category. Culture, understanding it can inform better self-improvement, i.e., developing both attractiveness and stability without turning cynical. Oh, look, Bob Ross just finished a painting of all the men who saved their marriage by going for marriage counseling and therapy. My experience with women is that they have a much stronger sex drive, but society traditionally has not rewarded that sex drive until the past couple decades. Any player or former player will tell you the same thing. When a man is pre-selected by a woman, she breaks every norm and every rule that she has. Women will go from 0 to 100 and give it freely to Chad. However, with Brad, he has to earn everything and still only takes second place. I'm keeping it real because no one else will. And with that, finish your creatine, and I'll see you on the next Daybreak Show, the only home of sanity, clarity, and reason.